It's the big game for the weekend, Liverpool versus Tottenham. And just like I said in the background, this is the game where ideally we should not be we should not be giving this game an audience at this point. Sorry to Tottenham fans, but not sorry. But we just have to do it because at EPL News we always preview the big six games. But honestly, we're supposed to skip this preview. But yeah, Max and Victor would not agree to that. But moving on, in a game between the reigning champions and the Europa League champions, Victor, I think this is the easiest version of this question you would ever answer. Who are the favorites going into this game?
On the face of it, of course, Liverpool. But if you take into account what happened in Istanbul, is it really that clear cut? I mean, sources are saying Schlott needs to win the Champions League in order to keep his job in the summer. At the same time, he also needs to make the top five in the Prem in order to be in the Champions League next summer. Because let's face it, even I can say it's quite unlikely that they win it this season. So if you're a Schlott, what do you do? How much do you rotate in order to keep things fresh and keep Galatasaray guessing ahead of the second leg? Yes, Liverpool are favorites to beat Spurs, and they should be. Spurs are terrible. Spurs can't beat anyone. Spurs can't beat a set of drums. Spurs couldn't beat Liverpool's under-9 team at the moment. But a draw, is it really out of the question? I, for one, don't think so.
I think you're playing it safe, but I think Liverpool win this game easy. But yeah, I agree with your logic, anyways. And just for some context to our viewers, before I ask you this question, Max, I saw a stat that Spurs have lost the most games in all of Europe's top five leagues since the start of last season, 45 defeats. And the question, Max, is have we ever seen a big six side this bad in Premier League history? And what approach should Spurs take to this game, considering their current situation?
I mean, how often do we see Big Six team fighting for relegation? Only Spurs like 2 seasons in a row, but still, it says a lot about Spurs in general, and also who's getting 5 from the Atletico side that usually scores like 2 and sit down in defense. It actually says a lot, and for this game in particular, I just feel like nothing can help Tottenham because at the moment players are not trusting another coach. It happens for the third time in a row, and it kind of says that nobody in the club actually believes that they even can survive and beat somebody bigger than Leeds at the moment. So I just feels like nothing can help them here.
Man, I would love to be as confident as you guys are about Liverpool right now. Seriously.
And we're not confident about Liverpool. We are just confident Spurs will be Spurs. But anyways, back to you, Victor. The question here is: will anything other than 3 points count as a terrible result for Liverpool?
I think this has more to do with optics than anything else. Perception. It would look worse than it would actually be if Liverpool failed to win this one. It has more to do with how bad Spurs are than with Liverpool's actual quality. I'm not trying to justify a draw or a loss in advance, but the race for the top five, I think, still has some surprises in stock. Manchester United will not win all their games between now and the end of the season. Chelsea won't either. Villa won't either. We still have some twists waiting for us, and a draw here, I don't think will condemn Liverpool to missing out on the top five. However, and this is a point that some people might not agree with. We've seen just a terrible collapse this week from the English sides in the Champions League. And it could be that after the round of 16 in the UCL, we might only have 2 out of 6 in the quarterfinals, if even that. So if the country coefficient really takes a nosedive here, there might be only 4 UCL spots. They might not get the extra spot, and that's when things really kick off. I think in this scenario, not beating Spurs, if only top 4 go, it's a catastrophe and a sackable offense for Schlott.
Right. And we usually don't add this other phrase in this question, Max, but how much of an impact will this game have on the top five and the relegation race?
I mean, yeah, if you talk only about this week for the relegation battle, maybe not so much because Forest are fighting Fulham, which is great recently, and West Ham play against City, which is draw at best. So for this week they're safe, but for the top 4 and top 5 race, it's definitely a huge game for Liverpool. As Victor already mentioned, we can end up only with 4 if the remaining teams in UCL and Europa League and Conference League miss out on the opportunities, and we end up with 4, then Liverpool must win this game. But in general, I'd say they still should be fine with the way Aston Villa playing recently. But if you're not winning this one, you're probably in a bad position at least.
Yeah, fair point. And over to you, Victor. Who are the key players or tactical decisions that could impact this game?
I think Milos Kerkez has been better of late, and Andy Robertson also just showed up everyone just how much life there is in him with that FA Cup display against Wolves. I think whoever starts for Liverpool at left back had better be up for this one and ready to give a proper game to Porro, and the right-handed Spurs centre back probably done so again. And another area of interest is going to be around Dibu Konate. He kind of threatened to be great again for a few games before he kind of sunk back to October, November form against Wolves in the league and Gala in the UCL. Solanke might start this one instead of Richarlison and will surely be targeting Konate. I think this one's going to decide the game.
Interesting. Max, your take on this one?
Honestly, I can't light up anybody from Spurs at the moment, so I'd probably just say that Salah is tend to score a lot against Spurs, so I can't expect him to at least get a bit of his form back against this bad of an opponent and probably do some decent job in UCL as well next week. So I'd say I'll be looking at Salah.
Interesting. I'm surprised nobody mentioned the Klinsky or Vicario, whoever starts between those two. But yeah, those are actually solid takes. And on the final note, starting with you, Mark, bold predictions or score predictions rather.
Bold predictions: Liverpool score at least 3, and for the score, I'd say 4-1 Liverpool.
Ouch. Victor, yours?
My score prediction can be considered a bold prediction. I'm going with 2-2 here.
That's interesting. Victor is trying to play the good cop, bad cop, the advocate for Spurs. Right, but yeah, I'm saying Liverpool win this one easy. 3-0 win for Liverpool, in my opinion. An easy win. I don't see Spurs even scoring a single goal. But yeah, these are big games at the end of the day. Like the cliche saying, form goes out of the window in games like this. So we are going to wait and see what happens because this is a big game for the top 5 race and also for the relegation battle. And we'll be here to discuss all the best talking points after the action this weekend.